What is going on? I'm Zedmot. I'm a Supercell creator, and this is a sneak peek. As a result, this is done on the dev build. That means that simple things like creator codes don't work. I've got 1,000,000 diamonds. This is not a hacked APK on some private server hosted in some dude's basement. This is the Supercell sneak peek dev server. Jumping into season 73. Now, season 73, there's a giant gotcha on this. This is called Can Chickens Fly, and it was made by The Chicken. I am going to try my best to not be overly critical of the season because designing a season and putting it forwards is like a Yelp review. You're only going to get 1-star reviews or 5-star reviews. So I'm going to try to give this season a review. And spoiler alert, it's going to be about a 3-star just to try and mix things up a little bit. So getting into the details here. So this was, I don't know the exact details if Chicken helped design it or gave some ideas, but bottom line, it has Chicken's name on it. So if you have complaints, talk to him. This is the 2-engine room level, and starting with the 2-engine room level is where my problems with the season start. This is going to be difficult. In the last 10 or so seasons, they've done a really good job of the 2-engine room level, where you can just kind of hang out at the 2-engine room level and collect chests if you don't have instant training, and this one is not really going to match that pattern. So we've got sniper towers and cannons and machine guns and flamethrowers and boom mines plus some extra defenses, and we don't have any troop health. So with just rifles and Zookas, that's going to be tough sledding once the 2-engine room level gets filled out. Now, another thing that's been really good in the last 10 or so seasons is they've really done a good job of using those tech levels and different paths and negative nodes and hiding troops in behind certain different things. And this season doesn't really have any of that. So I kind of assume that Chicken helped design this season like months ago, and they just haven't put the new stuff into this. So I'm going to try to look at this from like a last year sort of perspective. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And it's just poor timing for Chicken because coming after season 72, which had the most cool stuff, puts this season at a little bit of a higher scrutiny. But we've had a couple weeks off, so maybe that helps people forget just all of the neat things they did. Anyways, without further ado, let's show you some more stuffs. So I've added all the keys, all the tokens, all the tech level, thanks to the beautiful things that are the dev build. And just to get you an idea of what this is going to look like, we are going to max out all of our defenses at the 2-engine room level. And then we will move forwards into 3 and show you the extra decks and all of the cool different features that are in there. But first and foremost, let's just get all of this stuff done. One path, a little bit of a turn there, but really one path to get going. And that negative node is going to make a couple people grumpy because you can't get flamethrowers until afterwards. So if you want flamethrowers, you're going to have to spend some diamonds. And now then, we've maxed our 2-engine room deck level. And just to show you what I'm talking about, this is the basic base that I threw together in about 5 seconds. Now, notice that there are some things along the shore. That's because there's no flares. So I did a battle with the player, bad dude, who had 50% troop damage. They had all the good stuff. And if we watch the replay, the fact that there's no flares and all these defenses at the 2-engine room level is going to cause a little bit of a problem. So you need to go right. Otherwise, your troops are going to be forced to go right anyways. Drop. And by the way, this is my first attack in like 2 months or 2 weeks on Warships. So my timing was not right. You see that my rifles back there came out, and all of a sudden, all of our troops are walking to that corner sniper tower, which means that they're all fully exposed. Our rifles got absolutely demolished. Yes, of course, this attack could have been better, but defenses and base layouts will also be better. So a Fizzle fest at the 2-engine room level, very possibly on the horizon. So if you heed any warnings, don't spend any tokens on the gunboat because there's nothing to use it on, and get into 3 engine rooms ASAP because that flare will at least give you a little bit of flexibility. And that is what we're going to do right about now, jumping into that 3 engine room level. And again, Fizzle concerns. You can see that people can just hide their engine rooms back there. They just build this like choke point that goes all the way through it, and there's no smoke and there's no shocks, but shocks are on the horizon a little bit. So early season about there. Scary, scary stuff. You want to get moving forwards as fast as you can. So those players who didn't play last season, finished poorly last season, or don't have instant training, this is going to be a massive complaint-filled inbox for Mr. Chicken, I do think. But if we can get beyond that, we start to see some light on the horizon. We've got shocks, we've got flares, we've got troop health. There are some prototypes here, and then some building health down here. So the defensive people are almost certainly going to go this way. And if you know Chicken, you know what? Let's just stop talking about the little intricate details a little bit. If you know Chicken at all, you can probably guess where all of these paths go. So Kevan right there early on. And then you guessed it, everyone has to go through Bombardiers. So Bombardiers is going to be a major, major factor this season. And then also, as we go forwards, everyone has to go through heavy choppas. So realistically, 90% of people are going to be using heavy choppa, Bombardier with Kevan, which is like a Chicken designed season in a nutshell. So, but beyond that, there is some cool stuff here. The fact is that critter launchers are way, way down in the corner, which is going to be great for players using Bombardiers. Chicken has kind of set himself up for some success there. And if we're looking around here, not seeing Seekers anywhere. So I know a lot of players out there don't like Seekers, and this is going to be the season for you if that's the case, because they're just nowhere to be found. And that was one of the good things about last season. There were like 6 different metas going on at once. And this season, it's kind of all monoculture for the most part, until we get, like, there might be a bit of heavy rushing at some point there, people going backwards. But overall, most of the defenses are here straight forwards. All of the offense is there. Shock mines are there. We don't have to worry too much about shock mines this season. They will probably be a little bit of a push point, but not like they would be if there were Seekers in the season or something like that. And then moving forwards, even more cutoff. So this is just ugly. Look how far you have to get your troops to walk all the way around that deck. That is going to be a massive, massive problem until we get to rocket choppas, which are even further in the season. So I am very, very curious to see how this plays out. Bombardiers definitely can walk through all of that stuff. Like once you get to Bombardiers, it's easy sledding for the most part, because you can just put rifles out front, get your Bombardiers to clear, and maybe even you're using mechs with Bombardiers, which does not sound super duper fun to me, but it's definitely an option. I would love to have seen Laser Rangers here on those narrow decks, but Laser Rangers are nowhere to be found in the season either. So moving forwards into where things start to get extra interesting. And this, like we talked about walking around the entire deck, well, it's even farther walks now. So those old man Bombardiers are going to have some tired feet. And those rocket launchers, if we place those rocket launchers over in here, for example, they don't quite range all the way around, which is kind of nice, because otherwise they would just pummel you all the way around. But there are going to be some interesting spots where people are going to put them, whether it be like in this neighborhood or somewhere else. There are spots where they cover most of the deck, and they're going to be in dangerous spots where Bombardiers can't reach them easily. So looking at the tree, is there any way? Yeah, you could go down and get artillery, which is going to help you get rid of some of those rockets maybe. But realistically, you're going to be rushing forward to rocket choppas, because suddenly with rocket choppas, you just mind the gap and just go across. And who would be super duper great with rocket choppas, who has just been added to the game that most of you probably have just finished unlocking? You guessed it, Captain Rudy Rudero, and I don't think he is part of this season. So, and that comes back to again where it just feels like this was designed a while ago. So I don't know if Chicken did the work on this a while back and it didn't get implemented or what, but no Rudero seems very, very strange timings. Building damage moving forward, and apparently there was a bug with building damage where you're only getting 90%, so let's boost that one up. We are definitely at 50%, and the other building damage node is, where are you? I hate doing this on, there it is, right about there, further ahead. So we're going to keep going ahead. Extra shock launcher, extra rocket launcher, and I don't know how many people are going to have critter launchers by now, but we are going to get that extra shock launcher moving forwards, getting our good friends, the heavy choppas. And this is where like Kevan is so far back before any of the other heroes. I can't see anyone getting a different hero. Yes, you have to get Brick. You could possibly hold out for Brick and do like heavy chopper rushes with Brick, which would allow you to get all the way over to this side. But now that other deck ramp is open, so that flying across is not as big of a factor anymore. So I'm not sure if heavy chopper rushing will be a thing or not. Also, we do have barrage there as far as getting rid of rocket launchers and whatnot. And then into that next final engine room, closes that right side ramp, gets this left side, and fully open. So there is incentive to go to 7 engine rooms, which many seasons don't have, which is a bit of an annoyance. Closing that right-hand side ramp will make your opponents slower, probably. And then we're just going to keep going into that damage amplifier, into that building damage. Let's see if we get up to 100%, because apparently there was a bug where people were only getting 90%, but we've got 100% without issue. So not sure what that was all about. And shock mines and grapplers and building health. That building health will be something that people are going to be rushing to most definitely. And then behind, like, Everspark's kind of acting as a negative node here because it's so many keys to get through here, into GBE, and then into 4 sniper towers, 3 boom cannons, or 6 mortars. I like that node. I just wish it wasn't behind Everspark, but I guess that's where she's acting as a negative node of sorts. Sky Shield. And so I have not touched on every single little thing as far as the percentages or the number of Sky Shields. I think there are at least 3 Sky Shields here though. So we've got one there, we've got one there, and one way over here. So people are where over here maybe. Anyways, bottom line, lots of Sky Shields, reasonable amounts of troop health, reasonable amounts of building health, troop damage, and the like, but barely monoculture. Should be a fun season regardless, because once you get into rocket choppas and bombardiers, there's going to be some interesting hits to be done. It's just going to be this early pain point that I'm very curious to see how far that goes and how it works out for people. So let me know what you thought about this sneak peek, what I missed, and while we're on it, need to check out the size of the chests, which I am a bit of an expert on. We're going to scroll through these 18, 20, and 22, of course, and then finally into that legendary tier with 25. So whether you played seasons 71 and 72 or you sat them out, this is going to be back to the usual format with the regular length of season, the regular sized chests, the regular costs of all of the nodes, and that in itself is going to be a little bit of a letdown because there were certain features in that 1 or 2 week seasons that were pretty darn fun. So hopefully see you guys on the seas. Looking forward to battling and matching a whole bunch of you. But that's going to be it for me. I am Zedmod. Thank you for coming in, liking, sharing, subscribing, and whatnot. Thanks for coming in. Peace.